Welcome to this special interview with somebody I call Champ and someone I've followed very, very closely for a decade and a half. Welcome, Sanya. Welcome. Welcome
Thank
again, and always a pleasure to talk. Firstly, why was the call? You said the body wasn't taking it anymore, but have you given it a deeper thought?
No, I gave it a deeper thought only then I made the call. I mean, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it for a solid few months, and I think that there are a lot of reasons for it. But I honestly feel I shouldn't have made the call so soon because everybody got so sad, and I felt so bad because everybody was like, "Oh my God, you're stopping," and I was like, "But I have an entire year still
Yeah.
left," and and then I was like, I think I regret like making this decision. I mean, not making a decision, but I regret calling it so fast. I should have waited till at least post Wimbledon or something and then said something. So people have not had that much time to process it. Right now,
No,
people
the
have the
other way to
entire
look at
year
it,
to process
the
this.
other way to look at it is it allows us to celebrate you all year.
No, that is, but you've known that I've always, my body has been struggling for a long time, and obviously when you're younger, you can still cope with those kind of struggles, and you can do, an X amount more to make it better. But as you're older, you have to also save your body, and in that saving of your body, obviously there's been so much of wear and tear. The recovery is just not where I need it to be. And that's a fact. And that's a fact of life that we all have to accept. And I know it's a sad fact of life, but at 35 and one child later, and three surgeries later, two more major injuries later, my body is just not where it needs to be for me to be a contender every single week to win. I can be a contender, the week that I feel great, not because of my tennis, but because of my body. Sometimes I feel, oh my God, it's not going to recover for me to be able to be at my best the next day. So for me, that is a big sign. That's a big sign. And you've known me, I play to win. I don't really play to compete. It's not something that I enjoy doing. I want to, like every other athlete in the world, when you step on the court or the field or wherever, you want to win. And if I ask myself, am I giving myself that 100% chance to win every single time? I don't think so because of my body. So it's really, so it's not as simple as, oh, I woke up in the morning and I said, this is going to be my last day. I don't want to play. No, it's not. It's much more complex than that. So this is one deal. And then obviously with Izhan growing up, not being vaccinated, to travel with him week in, week out, it is something to worry about. It is, the pandemic has changed a lot of things for a lot of people. And there are certain decisions you need to take for the well-being of your family and your child. And I feel that I am putting him at risk every single time that I'm taking him on a plane, and sometimes I feel to myself, is that fair? It's not a choice he's making, it's a choice I'm making for him. And I understand that parents do make certain choices for their toddlers, but I feel that, I shouldn't in this kind of, sometimes I do feel that I'm being a little selfish about it. Unfortunately, my work involves traveling every week, and I have to think about that as a mother first and an athlete later. I have to think about that. So there are many reasons for this decision. Having said that, though, I mean, if magically my body starts feeling incredible by the end of the year, I mean, maybe I'll play. But I don't see it happening. So a lot of people are like, can you change your decision? It's not something that I'm happy about. It's not a decision that I'm like, oh my God, I'm ecstatic about this decision. It's not. But the fact is that we have to accept reality. 35 is not young by any means as a tennis player. I've had a 21-year-long career. And if someone told me this 21 years ago, I would have just said thank you very much, taken it with both my hands and left. And
that was my question. That was the question. That have you looked back 21 years, 2003 Junior Wimbledon to now world number one, Grand Slams, making whatever you've achieved, incredible amounts for India. Have you thought about it? I mean, have you reflected back on the journey?
No, because I'm not ready to call it quits yet. So I'm not going to look back right now. And I mean, sure, I have enough number of years ahead of me to look back at that journey, but now is not the time. Even at Australian Open, when I was winning, when I was losing, I would come back from the match and everybody was like, so I would go into press and they were just talking to me about this. And I was like, guys, I really don't want to talk about when I'm going to stop. I want to try to win every time I step on the court, and that's what I'm going to try to do. And I don't want to keep thinking about, what I have achieved or what I may achieve or may not achieve. Or, I think that time is going to come and it'll hit me more when it's closer. For me, the entire years there, I have 20 weeks of play still left, 3 Grand Slams, and hopefully if my body allows, I'll be able to finish that year and try to finish on a high as much as possible.
To make this comeback, the last comeback must have been the hardest with a child, with all of it. I mean, to be able to even do that, how tough was that?
It was. I mean, I think physically, of course, it was difficult. I mean, that's a no-brainer because of. I mean, losing the weight is only one part of what you're trying to do. Then you have to get strong again, and then you have to train to become a professional athlete all over again and teach your body what to do again. And then you have to try to win and be the best and be the best version of yourself. So it was definitely very hard, but also it was emotionally hard because thankfully I had no postpartum, which was great. And I think one of the reasons for that was because I started exercise really early after I had a son. And I can't say this enough, like women need to, right after they have a child, a couple of weeks later, whenever their body is ready, they need to go, because the hormones that are released, it just makes you so happy. You feel worthwhile. You don't feel like your existence is only because of the child. You still accept because everything becomes about the child after. So when the child is born, the mother is born, but everybody forgets the mother and everything's about the child. So those 2 hours were my sanity. They were my space where I used to go. I used to work out. So I think those kind of things were difficult to deal with emotionally as well. You're going through a lot of hormonal changes. You're seeing your body change. I mean, there are a lot of things. And then the demands of a newborn, waking up like 8 times a night, and you're feeding, and I myself was feeding. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And definitely I think it was probably the hardest thing to do. But people like you who know me know that I love challenges, and when someone says I can't do it, then I just have to do it. And there were enough people saying that I won't be able to make a comeback, and then I had to do it. So I did.
I was looking back at all the statistics and all the victories and all. Will Wimbledon 2015 still be the highest point?
No, I don't think that I can call one point in my 21 career the highest point. I think it's not fair, because I think that everything that I am today is because of the journey I've had. And whether that was winning my first medal when I was 15 years old, or whether that was winning Junior Wimbledon, or whether that was being top 30 in the world in singles, where people started to believe that we can have a person from our country competing against the best in the world who we only saw and watched on TV. We didn't have a single hope that we will have someone compete against the Serena Williams or beat Martina Hingis, so compete, those kind of names that we were only hearing of. And for me, being top 30 in singles still remains something that is exceptional, because it hasn't happened by anyone, man or woman, in over 30 years. And that is something that I take with me, because it's one of the highest points. I believe that if it was not for injuries, I got to 27, I should have been top 20. But I was 27 in the world, and that for me was as big as an achievement, if not bigger than the slams that I've won, because the legacy of obviously doubles has been so great from our country, that it was something that it was always going to be something that I wanted to do later on in my life. But for me, being there at that singles, being top 30 for X number of years, being in the top 100 of the world and competing against the best, and reaching into the second week of Grand Slams was something that I take, as one of my big achievements.
Every time you step on the court, I can tell you this, I'll consume you, because it's important for us to enjoy Sania Mirza as long as the journey lasts. And once it's done, maybe one more conversation. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks.
Thank you.